So how I got the phone call is a wonderful story. Do we want to go through the whole story with your end too, or just yeah, for time? Okay. So I did not apply to do this. In fact, I consciously did not. And so I did not, I assumed when Robert Jordan passed away that the book was in someone's hands. And I was, I was a long-time Wheel of Time reader and a long-time fan. I did write a eulogy for Robert Jordan on my website, which you can still find. And unbeknownst to me, a friend of Harriet's put that on her desk. And Harriet read that, and through various courses of events, decided to give me a call and ask me if I would be interested in working on the Wheel of Time. I got it as a voicemail because I don't get up terribly early in the mornings. Here's a little secret for you. We artists are not good at schedules. We just do what we want to do. I will write until I'm tired, and then I'll go to sleep and then get up when I'm not tired. And that usually for me means going to bed between 3 and 6 a.m., depending on the night, and then getting up 8 hours later. And so I stumble out of bed this morning and I check my voicemail, which is something I commonly do in the mornings because New York being two hours ahead of me, oftentimes in publishing there'll be some big emergency, like, oh no, you need to rebook this schedule date. It's not that big emergency, but to them it's a big emergency, and there'll be like 17 voicemails from me, from like my publicist or something. And so I'll check my voicemail, make sure there's no fires in New York. That's what we call it. My wife will be like, all right, I gotta check for fires. So I go to check for fires, and instead of fires, there is a voicemail from someone where this woman says, hello, Brandon. My name is Harriet McDougal Rigney. I am Robert Jordan's widow. I'd like you to call me back. There's something I want to talk to you about. And so I picked myself up off the floor, and I called back the number, but Harriet had gone out for a massage. And so at that point, I went and I called my editor, who didn't answer. He never answers, so it's okay. I then called my agent, who always answers, and he didn't answer. So I went upstairs to my wife, and I said, Robert Jordan's widow just called me. And she said, well, what did she want? I said, I don't know. I can't find out. But I was stuttering at the time. I'm not one who gets very tongue-tied. If you've heard me give presentations before, I kind of talk a lot. I'm very comfortable talking a lot. I talk kind of loudly. I'm a little bit in your face. I don't get tongue-tied. But my wife tells, when she's at one of these things, and she grabs the microphone and says, he was more nervous that day than I've ever seen him. He was more nervous than on our wedding day. And she says that jealously. But I eventually got smart, and I called up Tor, the publisher, and got a hold of an editor there, and I said, Robert Jordan's widow just called me. And the editor, Patrick, bless his heart, said, oh yeah, it's what you probably think it is. I'll have her call you back. Yeah, Patrick, thank you very much. And so I sit there holding my phone, and Harriet calls me back eventually and says, well, I'm compiling a short list.
You didn't know how short.
Yeah.
Seemed tactful.
Yeah, it's an old business proposition to make sure, just in case. And so she said she's compiling a short list. She wanted to know if I would be interested in helping complete, co-authoring the last book of The Wheel of Time. And I still was so nervous I could barely talk. I stuttered so much that I wrote her an email the next day promising her that I actually was capable of forming coherent thoughts and sentences. But yeah, she called, she asked, and then she read Miss Sworn. Yes. And I went on tour, not knowing yes or no, and so spent a month not being able to say anything until I got the call, and she said, yes, I would like you to do it. Within about 2 weeks, we had contracts signed, and I was sitting in Robert Jordan's chair holding the notes that she had handed me so I could read the ending. And you now have that ending in your hand. What I read first was what is now the epilogue to A Memory of Light. All right, yeah.
I was very lucky. I knew he was good. I didn't know how superb he was. It was a great choice.